Hi everyone, Danya here. I was asked to requested to show a video coloring the new birds that have been released, and I was also asked if I could do another video on the house folded using the birds. So I'm going to try to combine both with this one video, and I'm thinking it's going to be a Christmas card. So I'm wanting to paint or color him as a cardinal. So I grabbed a few tombos, 2 shades of red, a gray, a yellow. I didn't test these out, so hopefully it'll work. I guess I could always restart the video. And I'm going to use my water brush and a rag. So that's all I have here. This is stamped on Canson XL watercolor paper, which isn't very expensive. And I use the Stamps of Life Forever Black Archival ink, so it will not run with the water. Just a little pointer here, but if you stamp the image on the Canson watercolor paper and some spots come out spotty, just grab a very thin Sharpie black marker and go ahead and just fill in the lines that are missing. And that way you get a nice crisp image, because sometimes it's hard to stamp on the bumpy side. You want to use the bumpy side of this paper because the water absorbs into the other side of it and it doesn't work as well. So definitely use the bumpy side of the paper. Okay, so I grabbed a couple of reds here, or close to it. And what I usually do, I don't think about it too much. Again, like always, I start out laying the darkest color down. Just brushing it through where I think it's going to be the darkest. No rhyme or reason, just put the color down. Mostly outlining the bird. Let's start with the bottom part of the body first, and let's work in sections. So if you get bored, you can shut it off or move it, forward it. This is a lighter red, and I'm just adding another layer next to the one that I just laid in. These blend pretty well, these markers. And they move pretty well on this paper as well. Then you can blend it in with the water brush. Now, I don't want it soaking wet. Sometimes the water kind of gushes out. I just want it damp. Just enough water to move the color. And I think this is pretty good. Yeah, I think this will work. Then I just go in and blend it in. Move the color into the areas that I left white. So pretty much the same like my other videos that I've done with these markers, or Stamps of Life markers. They work the same way. I'll leave it alone. You could always go back and add more color, and I'll probably end up doing that, but I'm going to move on. Again, I'm going to grab the, this one's 856. I'm just going to grab the darkest red. And again, I'm going to just outline around the bird. Like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to speed it up, because it's all going to be pretty much the same thing. I'll be going back and forth. I won't speed it up too much so that way you could watch, but it's basically going to be the same thing, and then I'll probably be adding color on top of this. Okay, so I finished coloring the bird, and my favorite thing to do with the Stamps of Life dies is to cut out the image right to the line. So I use the inner die, and then I always like to use the shadow die and use some kind of coloring. That's my favorite way to work with this product. Of course, I do other things too. I went ahead and glued the bird down, and I left this little wing up because that way it gives me an option later to be able to stick something in there. And since this is going to be a Christmas card, maybe a candy cane. So we'll see. But what I wanted to show, and I've done this before, is when you cut it to the line, you get the white border around the image. And I also do use a double-sided tape to hold the eyes in place. So I grab a black marker. I use this specific marker for just this because it will fray the end of your marker. So this is the only reason why I have this marker. I've had it forever and I only use it for this. And I go through and I just outline the entire outer part of the image to just clean it up a little bit. So that way you don't see that white. And it just makes it a little bit finished better. Finished better, yeah. Right, Danya. Anyway, so I'm going to continue doing that around the bird. And then I'm going to head and I'm going to glue him onto the back. And I'll have two birds. And I did color him the same as I did the same colors and everything. And then we'll start working on the house. Okay, so I went ahead and cut all the pieces out except the roof. I got to find a pretty green. I think I want to go with green for the birdhouse. So I'm going to do the back in chocolate. And I stamped using wood grain to stamp on ginger snap paper in chocolate ink. And I started to ink the edges. So I just wanted to show you what I did here. So, but to spare you from doing all of them on video, I'm just going to give you a couple here. So this is all I did. I just go through it and I inked the edges to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. And then I'm going to go see if I can, through my pattern papers, if I can find some green paper for the roof of the house. And then I will assemble the whole entire thing off camera, since I've already done a video showing how to assemble it. And I will put the link below for those who have not seen it and it's their first time on my channel. Okay, so let me go ahead and put it together. Okay, I'm back and the house is assembled. I found some green paper that I liked from the Cheerful collection. It's the color green, it would be green apple. And then on the bottom, I just added a strip of green apple. I went ahead and inked those as well, just like I did the house and I showed before. So now everything's colored, everything's cut out, and now it's time to get creative. And this is what I'm thinking of doing. The wreaths to stamp has a wreath, but I want to make a Christmas wreath. So I'm going to use this little round piece. I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to use that as my guide. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out in green apple and what's the other color? Spearmint, the branches. And I'm going to cut out some, I forget what these are called, whatever these are called, and then some berries as well to decorate my wreath. And what I'm planning on doing is I'm planning on taking the wreath and I'm going to put it around the bird's head. So let me go cut everything out and I'll come back and try to assemble it here so you can see. Okay, so I went ahead and cut out everything like I said I was going to. And I also, they're pine cones. they're pine cones. And actually the stamp is called Pine Cones to Stamp. And let me show that again. Pine Cones to Stamp. So I apologize for that hiccup. So what I did was I cut them out with the shadow, and then I took a pair of scissors and I just trimmed the shadow close and then inked it because I didn't really want a big shadow around them. So I did 3 of these, and the berries I did the same thing. I just cut them out, and then I also put dimensional glitter glue on them to make them look like they're going to pop out. And so I'm going to use these two to decorate the wreath. And this is our birdie. And as you can see, the wreath fits perfectly around him. And I'm going to fill it up. It's going to hopefully look cute. So let's go do that and see what it looks like. And there's my wreath with the little bird inside. I think that came out so cute, and it was so easy. So you just take the greenery and you just glue it around the circle, and you have yourself a little Christmas wreath. Let me show you some other products I'm going to use before I put the card together. I'll be using the candy cane. I'm also going to be using the Christmas hat, the dies from this set, Hats for Critters. And from this set, I'm going to use From Our Home to Yours, Merry Christmas, a little candy cane, and the word joy. And I'm also going to use the scallop tag to put the word joy on. And I already stamped the inside of the card. So now let me go ahead and assemble this.